particularly South Africans, black South Africans, not wanting their brothers to be in their country, and particularly Nigerians. Nigeria played a very, very significant role in the darkest years of South Africa, of the black South Africa, during the apartheid regime. They were killing them, they were imprisoning them, and in our own government of the Eastern region, by my party, the NTNC then, we collected a lot of young boys and young girls from South Africa, from Zimbabwe, from Tanzania, from Malawi, and gave them scholarships in Nigerian secondary schools. Gave them the education here in Nigerian secondary schools. The existing grammar schools there had about 20 South Africans, 20 Africans, East and Central African, when they were being oppressed by the whites, we were giving them education. Most of their politicians, we trained them in the NCNC political training school at Yaba. They went home and became ministers in their country. When Nelson Mandela was being hunted by South African apartheid government and British intelligence service, he went to Tanzania. At Tanzania, they wanted Tanzania being a small country, they wanted to round him up there because there were so many whites there. And so he found his way to Nigeria in 1961. And when he came to Nigeria, the Kazikiwa was then the Governor General, not yet President of Nigeria. So he reported to Zik. And Zik said, okay, we'll host you here. We'll keep you in this country. We'll give you refuge here. Let me find the nationalist that has similar thinking with you, with whom you will feel comfortable and at home. And Zik sent for me. I went to see Zik at the State House. I introduced Nelson Mandela and said that I should take him and he should stay with me. Sorry. Mandela came to me and lived with me in my house at number 5 of Kotiebo Street, Ikoyi, Lagos, for 6 good months. The British intelligence service were looking for him, desperately for him. South Africa had no representation in Nigeria then. The apartheid government of South Africa did not have a representation in Nigeria then. So the British people were fighting for them. They were looking for him, but it was impossible for them to get to Mandela because Mandela was with me. I wasn't a soft person, a nationalist in there. The British knew me. They wouldn't get near me. If they got near me, the person would burn. So with Mandela, Mandela felt free with me. Most often we would go to the clubs in the night, we would dance at the Empire Hotel, Kakadu Hotel, and everywhere. We would go and dance high life and so forth. And they dare not touch him. And then once a month, I used to come home every month. Every month, Mandela and myself will come to this village. We'll stay here in this village, spend the weekend, Friday, Saturday, maybe Monday, Tuesday, we'll go back to Lagos. And there's an African diet I like very much, abacha. The flat one, not the mbagobunu. So Mandela liked it very much. And my mother was always very fond of preparing it for us, even when we were going home, back to Lagos, she would package something for us to take to Lagos because Mandela liked it. So after about 6 months, Mandela started thinking, he said, look, comrade, this my stay in Nigeria is not productive. It's true that I'm free here, but my people are still slaves. I think I better go home. If I go home, one of two things will happen. They will either kill me or they will send me to prison. Whichever way they do will give inspiration to other nationalists to fight more and more. So he said he was going home. So we decided he should go home. Then I rallied a few of the known old Zikis. Then we escorted him to the airport, and then we sat together, and then we sang the Zikis anthem. My life has been a joy to me, no matter where I go. I've learned to live in harmony with kindly friend of foe. We sang it for him, and then he boarded the aircraft, went home. Barely 3 months after he got home, they arrested him, and they sent him to prison for life. Significantly, the typical Mandela, he wrote me a letter from prison, signed in prison number so and so and so. He wrote me that there was a Dr. Barange, the son of a lawyer who defended them, that the apartheid government was trying to get that Dr. Barange to imprison him, that he is running away to Nigeria, that I should help him get a job in Nigeria. He was a geologist. So the Dr. Barange came to Nigeria, reported to me, and I arranged for the University of Ife to offer him a job as a lecturer. So that was from Mandela from prison, writing to think about somebody else who is free outside. That is the nature of person Mandela was. So when he was eventually discharged from prison after 27 years, he came to Nigeria to say thank you to us. By then, Nigeria was under military dictatorship by Abacha. So, but Mandela said whatever happened, he wanted to see two people in Nigeria, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe and Mbazika Mench. So Zik was then a man at no more president, no more governor at Abuja, at Azuka. So they arranged, the military governor at Enugu then was one Robert Akonobi. So Akonobi arranged for Mandela to meet with Zik and sent for me. They sent a message to me that Mandela was at Enugu and they wanted to see me. So I went to Enugu with my wife, and we met with Mandela. Mandela introduced me and my wife to his wife, because he came with his wife, Winnie, I think Winnie or something. And they came together. So we had some time at Enugu, and we escorted him, he went home. When he died, I wanted to go for the funeral, but the government, the federal government, refused to sponsor me. Good luck, Jonathan. I even begged, I said, give me a lift in your aircraft, a free aircraft. Then the secretary to the government, one man from Africa, he said, look, what are you going to do in South Africa? The way they do their funeral is not the way we do it here. It's for you to stand on the street to wave when they carry the coffin. So I said, no. So P.W. was the governor of Anambra State then. So 4 days to the thing at South Africa. P.W. had this, and same for me. I was at Abuja trying to beg these people to let me go. So P.W. said, no, don't worry, Anambra government, I will sponsor you. So P.W. sponsored me, myself, my PA, and my secretary. We went to South Africa. But the significant thing was that my going to South Africa was the only way of letting the world know that Nigeria ever played a role in the affairs of Mandela and South Africa. Our president, Jonathan, went there. He sat among the VIPs in the field. Only one spokesman was allowed per continent. So one woman spoke for Africa. the American president spoke. Somebody spoke for Europe and so forth. So Jonathan was there. Nobody took notice of him, and he went home. It was only when I arrived that the Nigerian mission in South Africa became very happy. Here is Nigeria. They surprised me by being at the airport at 5 a.m. to give me VIP treatment. The Nigerian embassy in South Africa. They took me, gave me, and then arranged for me to go to Mandela's house to sign the condolence register. From there, I went to Pretoria, where they led him in state, and then went to the place, paid my respect to him. Then they took me to his village. I saw some bullet marks on the wall and so forth when they were fighting for this thing. Then, but the most important thing was that they arranged a big dinner party of international people for me and arranged a world press conference for me to address. It was there that South Africa and the world knew that Nigeria played a very significant role in the struggle of South Africa blacks. So now that I'm hearing about people, South Africans, killing Nigerians or other Africans, I feel so sad. Because in their darkest hour, many of these countries, particularly Nigeria, played her role. Even during military regime, the military in Nigeria, under Abacha of all people, received Mandela, and then I think they gave him something when he came. But not Mandela was not bothered with money. Wealth was not his concern in his life. But it's true that people from Zimbabwe, from Malawi and other areas were rushing down to South Africa because of its development, because of its mineral resources and so forth. And there's more wealth there. But the South African people, most of them, it will be unkind for me to say that they are lazy, but they are not playing their role in seeking employment. They rather like to enjoy the new freedom they have than working. And so when others come to work to earn their salary, they become jealous. It makes one feel very uncomfortable. Well, when they are killing blacks, perhaps they don't discriminate among Nigerians. All blacks are blacks. But Nigeria played a very significant role in the struggle by the blacks of South Africa to free themselves from the yoke of imperialism called apartheid.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to GNU according to say day that is government of national unity. Fellow South Africans, please don't laugh with me. This is not funny. Oh my gosh. Have you noticed how this man, I'm gonna respect him and call him man, not a liar. Uh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to ask you in this speech that this old man was lying about. Did you hear him somewhere where he mentioned how Nigeria donated $61 billion to fight apartheid? Did you hear? Did you pick it up, or maybe I didn't? Because that is what is always thrown at us. Yeah, you should allow us to kidnap your children, sell drugs to your teenagers, kill the future of your country, kidnap your women and turn them into prostitutes because we gave you $61 billion in the 1960s to fight apartheid. Did you hear him? I didn't. It was quite hilarious for him to claim that he housed Nelson Mandela in his house for 6 months. It's, you know, did I not dig and look for Nigerian history that speaks of Nelson Mandela being in Nigeria in 1961 and him being in 19 because we know where Nelson Mandela was in 1961, Howard, right? Howick, right? We know Mutedege. You know that history of him being hidden in a car as a, where he was caught in Howick, KwaZulu Natal. And where was he in Nigeria? Where was he in Nigeria? And let alone, how come our history doesn't mention this part, doesn't mention this man? I don't even know what his name is. I think he was a minister in some cabinet back in the eons of years ago. And where in even in a Nigerian history, where it says that he housed Nelson Mandela in 1961. And then the part about Nelson Mandela saying to him that he cannot be here, it's not good, and allow his people to be slaves. Slaves? I This is the part where I was like, no, this one is a liar. I'm sorry to say that an elderly person is a liar, but he's a liar. We've never been enslaved in South Africa. Get your history correct. South Africans were being suppressed. There's a difference being enslaved and being suppressed. Or better yet, go read South African history when it comes to slave trade. Read about the wars that South Africa, I'm talking black people, fought against the British because we refused to be taken and be enslaved. They had to go outside of South Africa, like places like India, Indonesia, all these other Asian countries to bring in slaves, not South Africans being slaves. Yes, they took some Khoisan, which are colored people, some of them, and turned them into slaves. And hence, there's that castle in Cape Town. If you come to South Africa and go on a tourism tour, you will learn about that castle, why it's there, and how it got there. But with black South Africans, no way that we allowed ourselves to be enslaved, let alone the apartheid government enslaving black South Africans, suppressing us, yes, oppressing us, yes, but enslaving us. Those words will never come out of Nelson Mandela's mouth, which shows this man is a liar, a pathological liar. I know, please. Who's next going to come and claim that he actually has a child with his sister? Because somebody in Nigeria is going to come and say, he has a child with my sister. I'm telling you, the way these people lie. And then he says Nelson Mandela wrote him a letter. You will never throw away or lose a letter that is written to you by Nelson Mandela. Where is it? Because we know that political letters to this day, they exist. He couldn't even quote. He couldn't even quote what Nelson Mandela had written in that letter to him. I, bo, I. All of this is to make us feel somewhat. Oh, like, no, it's okay, Nigerians, you did so much. You did so much for Nelson Mandela. Oh, yeah, great. So please continue doing your thing. Kidnap our kids, sell drugs to our teenagers, kidnap the women, screw up everything in South Africa. Why? Because you helped us during the days of apartheid. You even housed Nelson Mandela in Nigeria for 6 months. Yeah, yeah, it's great. Mess up South Africa all you want. Just do as you please, please. Don't respect the laws. I mean, who cares about law and order, right? Yeah, just do that. South Africans, shut up. That is what he is basically saying. A grown man, a grown man lying to those young men who are now going to take what he said and spread it as if it's the truth. We are still waiting for proof of payment of the $61 billion. This man didn't even mention it once. He only mentioned about school that is down the road, that's 20 South Africans, and he says, no, Zimbabweans as well as whatever he mentioned that went to that school. Where's the $61 billion? Because I'm still waiting for that proof. I'm still waiting for that proof. And this old man needs to also show some proof of the things that he's saying. He needs to show proof. It doesn't do, no, we're not stupid. We are not stupid. I saw another brother that says that South Africans are uneducated. And I believe that South Africa is ranked the top two most educated on the continent, and Nigeria doesn't feature nowhere on the list. Check it out if you think I'm lying. It doesn't feature nowhere in the top 10. Let us study this way. Nigeria does not feature anywhere in the top 3, in the top 5, in the top 7, and in the top 10. The most educated Africans on the continent. And yet they always claim to be educated and South Africans are uneducated. 95.6% of South Africans are educated versus there are over 20 million Nigerian kids as we speak are not at school. 50%, not 50%, 50 million, or maybe more, probably 59 million of Nigerians are living with mental illness. That is the population of South Africa. Imagine the entire South Africa considered as one flew over the cuckoo's nest. Yeah, that's Nigeria. And they are claiming to be the most educated. And they feature nowhere in the most educated country in the index of most educated countries on the African continent. Not in the top 3, 5, 7, and 10. The way these guys like licking themselves, it's hilarious. The denialism, I think it comes from or it stems from the mental illness that they are struggling with in that country. That's where it's I mean, have you seen anyways, that's a video for another day. The filth that country is. And I'm talking filth. I'm sure the air even stinks the moment the aeroplane door opens. You are hit by that stench. And they say they have the biggest economy. If you have the biggest economy, why are you here? Why are you here? You are a country that discovered oil, but you have no gasoline. Make it make sense. You are scattered all over the world being nonsense, but you are the biggest economy and you are proud to even say that in another man's country. Why are you saying that in another man's country? Why are you not saying that in Nigeria, thriving under that big economy? Y'all are hilarious, honestly speaking. The most funniest people I think live on earth. I get it. It's the mental illness that you people live with. Get help. Get professional help. Admit that you have a problem because the only time you can get help is when you admit that there is a problem. That's it. Just admit we have a problem and they said they are working on it. Working on it from another man's country, you're not even thinking about your own. Instead, you're bringing your whole family down here and you're working. Wow. The lies these people tell themselves. Now we have a whole old man lying. I swear that you guys. Anyways, guys, I will see you next time with a new video. Goodbye.